Hey, LifePixers! Hope you're having an awesome day. Are you ready to better understand yourself, your partner, and your marriage? Yes, you will on today's episode. If you're new here, you're going to want to listen to the past 10 episodes so that way you're all caught up and you know exactly what we're talking about. Today's guests are a couple who've started long distance and today are married for over 3 years, and they have a beautiful blended family doing some really interesting things. Thank you so much, Pete and Olga Alexander, for being here. I am excited to be speaking with you. You want to start by telling us how you guys met?
Hi, it's wonderful to be with you too. So Pete's gonna
pass it on to me. So we actually met online. So Olga was living 2 states away from me, and she reached out. We were both on Match, and so she reached out with a wink, which is what back then, I don't know if they do it now, but back then that's what they did. And I saw it, and I replied back, do you always wink?
No, he said, thank you for well, I didn't want to send the whole message thing. You know, it's kind of like, what if he doesn't answer or whatever? And wink, it doesn't really, it's a wink, right? So, and then I get this reply saying, thank you for the wink. Do you always reach out to people 800 miles away?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I said, not always, but I couldn't help myself because you're so handsome.
So it was like, oh.
Starting on the right foot, right?
Exactly. So that was a nice compliment to start. And so we ended up having a conversation on back and forth. We had our first conversation was that night via FaceTime. And then we just continued conversations there. We had it was like a half an hour to start, half an hour, 45 minutes, and you were cooking dinner for your son, and then we picked it back up and talked for another 4 hours that night into the early morning.
Yeah, like, can I call you back? And I'm like, sure. And then it was just went for 4 hours. So next morning I was telling my friend at work, I said, I think I'm in love. And she said, with who? And I said, oh, with this guy. We just talked all night. And we talked every day for 2 weeks after that. And Pete was telling me, I have some airline miles. I think I'm going to come to Seattle. And I was like, okay. And he did.
Yeah. And so we met in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
So I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time, and she was a couple hours outside of Seattle.
Wow. So how long did this long distance relationship last?
2 years. 2 years.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah. 2.5 years. And then Olga decided after her son graduated high school and went off to the Air Force, she decided to move down with me because my youngest was still in high school at that point. And so we lived in California for 3 years, 3.5 years, and then moved to Washington after that.
Yeah, but it was it was hard work to keep up that long distance relationship going. We had a Friday night date every Friday, and we watched a movie, which it was very tricky.
Yeah. We would basically use FaceTime, and we would have dinner. So she would have whatever her dinner was. I'd have my dinner. We would eat like we were having dinner right next to each other, but it was the distance there. And then
you can't taste each other's food.
No, but it's okay. We would watch the movie, and the cool thing, Pete would put his computer in front of TV, and I would watch it through my iPad, and we can talk during the movie, and we watch it together. So that was really a great experience because
you were literally watching the same exact thing.
Exactly. Yes. And so we could have the conversation, because I know some people try to just hit the play on the streaming service at the same time, and they're watching it roughly at the same time. But this works even better because we're both watching.
It's like, wow, yeah. What did he say that? What?
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
really good.
So it was good. It was movie night every Friday night.
I was looking forward to that. So that kept relationship going. And we talked every night, FaceTime, and it was also quality time. Like I wouldn't let him get his eyes off the camera. One time he was just like doing something, I don't know, I'm putting battery in something. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm trying to fix that. And I said, do you want to finish it so you can call me back and you can give me 100% attention?
Right.
Okay.
That's one of the things that it makes it good too, is that Olga understands that if I'm, I can't multitask.
Like a man,
Yes.
So she just says, she stops talking and then she says, I'll wait until you're done.
Or I say, now I say, is this a good time? And he would say, just give me 5 more minutes. And then he just gives me a whole attention instead of me trying to make a multitask. And then sometimes he doesn't hear me a lot of times. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you're really understanding what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are and using those so that way you don't afterwards get upset. Like, hey, I was trying to talk to you, but I was in the middle of something else and I'll wait 5 minutes and then I get your full attention.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, do you still have those movie nights or like what else do you take from that long distance that you still do now that you're together?
Well, the quality time is one thing. So when we're home, because I work out of the house, Olga works at the hospital. So our time when we're together for meals and for like movie night kind of a thing, that is the quality time. We're not, doing other things when that time is there. So it's 100% attention. So that one is really good. We also, you'll laugh, but one thing that's interesting is we don't take for granted things like going to Costco, for example, because it used to be where, got to go to Costco. It's going to be a grind, blah, blah, blah. But when we were at a distance, we would have liked to have been able to go to Costco together, go shopping and stuff. So now it's actually fun as opposed to how it was before, where it was just a chore. And so that one definitely is a good one. And I think we also from the long distance, one of the things that's very challenging is, as you were talking about earlier, about the getting upset or letting something linger. And we have this policy that we have that we won't go to bed mad at each other. So, so we have different things that we do for forgiveness so that we don't let something fester and fester and fester.
Do you want to share what some of those forgiveness things are?
So, yeah, one of the techniques is a do-over, actually. So, for example, like I come from work and I had a hard day and it's just not going well. So I say, hey, do you want to do-over? Okay, so I just leave and I come back and say, hey, how's it going? And it's totally different energy. So
we also learned something from laughter yoga, where you kind of if there's something that might have agitated one of us, we can come and do this like kind of thing. And just, laughter really it truly is the best medicine. I'm obviously not the one that came up with that, but it really is the case. And so trying to let it go that way is, through that activity. We also have a forgiveness meditation that we have that takes 7 minutes. And that's a wonderful one, not only for something that may have happened between the two of us, but also someone else that we might have encountered during the day that we were carrying something negative about it. We can release that as well.
And gratitude. We do gratitude every night before we fall asleep. We always ask each other, what are you grateful for? And it could be anything. It could be like, I'm grateful that today's over or whatever. But it's really good to fall asleep on this note of gratitude. And it just makes such a big difference.
Yeah, that's
you don't have to be. Yeah, you don't have to have gratitude for, oh my gosh, I'm grateful for, the big things, a car, a house, etc. Be grateful for the little things. it makes a big difference. It brings the positive energy.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I know, Pete, that you've had some sort of stress related issues. Do you want to share with us how that was and when was that? At what point in your life?
Yeah, well, stress and I have had a pretty much lifelong relationship with each other because I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. And I didn't notice any implications of the stress until actually I was in my mid 40s. And I had a perfect storm in 2008 where both family and professional responsibilities were all coming to a head at once. And I ended up getting stress-induced diabetes. And the scary thing about that is two things. One, there's no diabetes in my family. So all of a sudden here I am, and I exercised regularly, and I wasn't overweight or lethargic, but I didn't listen to my body about what stress was doing to it. I just kept on saying, well, give me the the insulin, first the metformin, and then the insulin. And I don't have time to deal with this. I got to keep going. And so, like a lot of people do, I just kept burning the candle at both ends for another 10 years until I ended up in the emergency room with a severe case of diabetic ketoacidosis. And the doctors said that had Olga not brought me into the hospital when she did, that I likely would have been comatose within the next hour. And basically what happened was my body was eating itself alive because of my stress. And that's crazy. And it was just because I was putting all my other responsibilities, and at that point it was mostly career, ahead of my health. And it's that's a really big mistake that you can make. And what I always like to remind people is that don't take your health for granted, because if you think about being a time when you were really, really sick, so like having the flu or something, chances are you didn't feel like doing anything other than lying in bed. And when all you can do is lie in bed, you're no good to your job, you're no good to your business, you're no good to the people you love and you care about. You can't do anything. So health is, some people say health is wealth. It really is the case. And don't trade your health for your career in particular. It's just a terrible trade.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did that do to your relationship?
Well, it was a scary thing at first because, in fact, that night that you took me to the hospital, it started earlier that day. And basically what happened was I was working on this really important project, and because I was working for a medical device company, and it was a very high profile project, which wasn't, that part wasn't so much stressing me out. What was stressing me out was I had a new manager who was a micromanager. And, I was in my early 50s at that time, and early to mid 50s. Was it 3 years ago? 3.5? Yeah. So, when you're that old, you don't need a micromanager who doesn't trust you and didn't trust the other people that reported to her. So it was, it just was really something that was building in me. And we went to have food, and I couldn't eat. I was just like, and so Olga wanted to take me to get me checked out. And there was actually a fire department across the street. We went in there. They said you should go to the hospital. And I didn't want to go to the hospital. So we came home, and I just said, I just need to lie down. Remember, I just need to lie down.
And I said, I'm going to call ambulance, or I'll take you to the ER. And he said, no ambulance.
Yeah, no, I didn't want the embarrassment of that. So she brought me into the ER, and they admitted me immediately because they could say, I guess I was kind of green. And it was good. And it helped us bond even more because she was there to make sure. Because if I wouldn't have had Olga there that night, I would have just stayed home and I probably would have gone comatose at home. So, yeah.
And I think the whole situation made us realize that, how fragile life is and that we have to, again, be grateful for each other and for our relationship and grateful to be alive. So that makes, it made us realize how precious it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How long was this after you were married?
Oh, this wasn't long. So this was probably, that wasn't that long past.
Well, we were here for 2.5 years already. So
yeah, so it was probably a few months, not much more than that.
Well,
right?
I mean, we simply married. We were dated for.
Oh yeah, so that was in 2018. I mean, we met in 2013. But we had been married
to each other, but
yeah, we were married not very long once this happened.
We were actually celebrating our engagement. That's was at the time when we went to
right. That's true. Yeah.
When you went to where?
That's right. We were. It was right before we got married. Yes. I'm just trying to think back how that goes.
He was stressed.
Did you notice the stress in him when you were dating?
I noticed. I always noticed stress in him. Like he, when we just met too, in the moment he would get like a phone call from work, he would change. He would, like, one time we were at this motel in the beach and we're having the wonderful time together, and he got a phone call from work and he changed. He started pacing back and forth, plugging in the phone. And I told him, I said, look at yourself. Like, you just, the way you're reacting to stress and what you're letting it do to you. And that's how Pete is. He wants to just do the best job. And that's how he wired. And it's really hard. So the whole relationship with stress, that's what
it made a big difference. I mean, I'm very grateful that it happened to me because now I take a different approach. I can't, it's not that I don't get stressed out by things, but now I know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. So it works. But Olga's right. I mean, because I was so focused on career things, because that, got to be successful, career. And, all of a sudden I get a call from somebody who, one of my employees saying, oh, somebody's having an issue with the website here. And it's like, you knew that I was, I had a day off and you're calling me, right? Yeah. And so she saw that happen, because it was like, why? I was mad that I had picked it up, but I was also mad that that I had to take care of it, and and that was back when when Olga hadn't moved yet. So the time we were supposed to have
even more precious.
Right,
not that
exactly.
It's not precious now, but
yeah. So what do you do today to release stress?
Me? One of the things that I love to do is I love to go out in nature. So one of the reasons that we moved out where we are, we're not super far from the Olympic National Park, is just to be out in nature. That's one of my favorite things to do. The gratitude exercise that we do is a huge one for reducing stress, because really if you're grateful for what you have, then you're not going to be, so stressed about what you don't have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you do to reduce stress?
I personally, for me, is water. We live close to the Puget Sound, so I connect with the water. I try to do it every day. I don't, but I want to. I take baths. That's, for me, is a stress relief. But also, we go for walks, and that's one of our favorite things, because we talk as we walk, and it's really fun just to enjoy the nature together. And like today is the sunshine, so another thing to be grateful for. And we just came back from the walk, so it's one of our favorite things.
Yeah, it's been, what a surprise. It's been raining in the Seattle area quite a bit for the last week and a half. So the fact that it wasn't raining yesterday and today was really nice.
Yeah. And if you go for a walk in nature that has water, then you hit everything.
You do exactly, because we have old growth trees here, and so we can go through trails with the trees. We go to the beach with the water. It's really nice to get a combination that is just so nice.
And we got coffee in a way too.
Yeah,
that was another nice thing. Like coffee always makes you feel good.
And reduce that stress. You guys literally just see everything in the good. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's true. It's what's that old funny sign that I drink coffee for your protection?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So how have your kids gotten along?
Excellent. So there's 3 of them. And we do
What's
a really
4,
good...
including a cat?
Oh, I thought yes, the cat. Yeah, he was here earlier. Yeah, it's a very good blended family. In fact, all 3 of them are coming up next or in January because my birthday's in January, and so.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you. Or that's a few months away, but thank you. And so, yeah, they get along great. They really do. And so
each of them have different relationship with each other. Like our both sons, they different with each other than like our oldest with the middle. It's really great how they get along, and they like fight as siblings do. It's just really cute.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they fight. They they pick on each other. Yeah, they pick on each other. Yeah. So that's the thing. So Olga's son is the oldest, and then 2 years younger is my daughter, and then 4 years younger than that is the youngest son.
Oh, wow.
So, but they're all, I mean, so they're going to be 21, 25, and 27. So, yeah.
And do you think that because of your story with stress, they have a little bit of a different view of stress than most people?
No.
Not at that age.
No, they don't. And that's the thing. When you have that kind of youth, you don't think that you have to worry about that. And so, and especially, our daughter, the middle one, she stresses herself out more than the other 2 do in many cases. And because she wants to be the best at what she does. She's a nurse practitioner, and I hate the fact that I passed a bit of that on to her, the go, 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 go. And so I was trying to explain to her that don't let what happened to me happen to you. And I get a love. Yeah. So
maybe a little bit of it is sinking in, but you know what? She's watching you. She's seeing how you're making life changes, and is hopefully
that's true.
Taking from that. Yeah,
that's true. And she has a wonderful relationship, and our oldest has a wonderful relationship. So we're hoping that kind of has been passed on.
I think that until there's kids, they're not really, people don't usually get mature. Like meaning like when you're in a relationship with someone, in a certain way, like you have to, but the other person could be responsible for themselves. As soon as you have a kid and you have more responsibilities, then like you really have to grow up.
Oh yeah. And you can't give them back. It's not like, it's like nonstop worrying about. And so it's like a full-time job. And, the responsibilities that come with that is it's so easy to become a parent, but, then it's a lifelong job. And that's
we're looking forward to be grandparents because it's easier. I've heard it's like, okay, it's crying here. Take it back.
Exactly. You can spoil them and hand them back.
Yeah, and not worry about any of it. So yeah. Okay. So sometime in the near future.
No, not the near future.
Okay. Near is very relative.
Right. Exactly. We want our kids to enjoy really having the relationships first, and then because once the kids come, all focus is on the kids. It really is.
100%. Okay, so in like 10 years, 20 years, how many years should I say?
Oh, no, not
right.
that long.
10 years. Okay,
we can go travel the world first, and then
what country do you want to go to most?
It's that we keep on talking about different places. So so there's various places in Europe we'd like to go. want to go to New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
We kind of want to move to Portugal eventually.
Yeah, people are telling us that would be a great place for U.S. expats is to go to Portugal. So Portugal or Spain, but we like Portugal better, at least from what we've seen.
We read online.
Exactly. Yeah, we did get to go to Italy. That was a lot of fun, and Costa Rica was a lot of fun. So. Yeah.
So you'll get to travel the world and then become grandparents and then travel more. Maybe you'll even take your children, or maybe you'll watch your grandchildren so your children could go travel a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get to our final question, where could LifePixers connect with you and learn more about you?
Well, for me, they can find me either on LinkedIn or on my website, which is petealexander.com. If anybody wants to learn about reducing stress, my blog's got over 100 ideas that they can check out there, or the book as well. So, happy for them to come visit me there.
And then in the same place.
Yeah, I guess, or LinkedIn.
I'm not that active. It's just mostly working and being happy. So that's what's happening.
Your point. Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you. So for our final question, one that gets asked to everyone, is how would you describe an extraordinary relationship without using love, trust, or connection?
That's like the main words.
How would you describe it?
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to come up with a sentence for that, because it's not just a word. Then, because
it's a feeling.
Feeling, communication, feeling. I would say
Being there for each other.
Right. And just best friends. That would probably be it. Yeah.
It's easy.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Why are you saying that?
Well, because it is. It's people say there is a lot of work, but it's not. It's just super easy.
I wouldn't categorize it as super easy. It does take work. It does take work. It takes a lot of, work and patience and understanding. And you also, one thing that we notice that is really important is we don't compete with each other. And we know several couples that tend to have, the egos are so involved in it. And, and it's like they have to compete against each other, and it's not the case with us. So, well,
we kind of also, our personalities, they really, we get along well because, and we're different. Pete is like, go, go, go. And I'm more chill. Mm-hmm. So when he's too much go, 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 I tell him, it's okay, let's chill. So that's kind of good. And when I'm too chill, he tells me, okay, let's do more, go,
so
go,
balance
go.
each other out.
Yeah. So we complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the word. Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Pete and Olga. It was super fun speaking to you, and I appreciate your time being here with us.
Well, I appreciate
you so much.
Your time too, ST. It's been a pleasure. And, I'm glad that we got a chance to connect.
That's all for this episode of the LifePix University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.